Welcome in, race fans, to another edition of In the Dirt. I'm your host, Webb Dillard. Just getting back into town from the Wild West Shootout in Arizona. I'm literally in the Chevy skateboard, the Chevy Colorado. I'd like to bring on my co-host, Mr. Brian Gray.
That's right. What's going on, Webb?
Man, I'm literally dragging tail back into Gadsden, Alabama. Just left the 2 hours ago, left the airport in Atlanta. But we were not going to let our fans down. We were going to have the show come hell or high water. Brian Gray is producing the show from his underground studio in Ohio while I am pushing away in this four-cylinder Chevy skateboard.
You have no idea how underground we are right now.
It's like a extension of the DRC bunker.
Yeah, it's pretty much it is a bunker, literally. I'm pretty sure that it was an old cistern, but it's definitely underground. It's all concrete, and it looks old and eclectic, and it's really cool because it's just dead silent in here.
Man, I'm so wore out. Most of you, I'm sure, know that over the last few days, Dirt on Dirt has provided the dirt racing community a pay-per-view from USA Race. One Michael Rigsby, Ben Shelton, Mr. Stepton was calling the races. Todd Turner was in action with us. Steve Gidges and his son Will Gidges. It was just a neat way to cover races with that many cameras, and I stood in that flag stand for 4 days and was sandblasted with sand and tire rubber. Every time I went back to the hotel room, Brian, it looked like I was a coal miner.
Whoa. Yeah, I'd imagine being up there on that flag stand, they had a lot of different track conditions down there, didn't they? Were they playing it dry and wet and just changing it up for them all week? Well,
the first night in which I was there was Wednesday of last week, and the track was real heavy. Then the racing was pretty good. I thought it was interesting that the next night, I don't know if it was on purpose, but it appeared to be that they didn't do as much to it and let it slick over. But the day races, they were okay. It could have been better. I know a lot of the drivers were upset come Sunday with the track conditions. And I can tell you that the track was so hard that they had the tiller out there trying to till it up, and sparks were flying off the tiller blade. So that tells you anything.
Kyle May.
Oh, shoot. Look who it is.
Uh-oh.
Race car Tiger. Let's go! Kyle May.
I'm here.
Kyle May, you get that car ready to go?
We're close. We waiting on shocks to get back, and got to put the new nose and stuff on, so we're close.
Now, what race are you guys getting ready for? The Cabin Fever?
Yeah, I hope it don't storm. It's supposed to storm, I think, Thursday and Friday again, so I'm hoping it don't. I'm hoping it don't rain it out, so I'm ready to go racing.
Now, Kyle, tell me what nose you're putting on your car.
I'll just say one of those. What is it, XD4? Yeah, that's what it is.
All right, yeah, that's what we're talking about. I was waiting.
With those Draco springs.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have the XD4 nose and the Draco springs. Otherwise, you're just going to get beat by everybody else that's got it.
Right.
So
exactly what's going on.
That's how it goes. You think that car's going to stay together this time?
I hope we don't have to worry about the racetrack being rough again.
Boyd's is pretty good with their speedway. Boyd's, for those of you listening outside the area, Boyd's is in North Georgia. It's really on the Tennessee-Georgia line. Go ahead, Kyle May.
It's probably, I'd have to say Chattanooga would be what it's considered, but it's actually in Georgia. But I like it. I raced up there a couple times last year, and I haven't really just run a whole bunch of races there, but I think it'll be fun to go to, and I think we've got a good shot of doing pretty decent.
That's funny that you guys are talking about North Georgia, because I was looking at that place on the internet today and just trying to figure out, I wonder if I should go down there.
The North Georgia Speedway?
Yeah, I mean, I got a few guys that's asked me to come down. It's just looking at it and trying to see, logistically if it's financially possible.
Matter of fact,
that's a little bit different. That's a different track, but it's a pretty good track too. I like it pretty well myself.
Oh, so North Georgia and Boyd's are two different places?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Boyd's is in the North Georgia area, but it's a different racetrack.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if you come to the South, Brian Gray, I highly suggest that you come into the Speedway parade style like you did at the one Speedway up north. I think that the Southern guys would love it.
I've been trying to put together what I'm going to do for this year. I don't know if we'll do the parade thing again for a while, but it'll probably happen. Something's going to happen, though. I'm definitely you always have to outdo the moment before, so it's just trying to figure out what we want.
You need to make an open-air trailer into a parade float with your car as the centerpiece and come in like the Ferris Bueller, Shake It On Baby Now. No?
I thought about just coming in there doing the parade thing and have a guy stand on top of the trailer shooting bottle rockets out of his butt.
Well, there you go. Well, all right. Well, tonight on the program, we've got Miss Kim Moeller calling in from Moeller Speedway up there in Brian's neck of the woods. She'll talk. Of course, you race at Moeller Speedway, Brian?
Yes, absolutely. Moeller runs on Friday nights. It's a quarter mile, and this will be coming up their 6th year of actually, this track is fairly new. It's, they built it literally 5 years ago, and it's growing into something really good for the area, I think.
Well, and also, and we'll talk about with Miss Kim, is they had their banquet over the weekend. There's a couple things that come out of the banquet, a couple pieces of interesting news for people who listen to our show, and we'll get to that when we get Miss Kim on here. I guess, Kyle, we also need to announce that one Randall Edwards and Morgan Bagley are going to be on the program. Winners last night out in Arizona.
Now, that was the final night. So is that like the big night? Is that the night everybody wants to win, or do they all every one of those nights pay big money like that?
Last night was the $10,000 to win. And I'm going to say the name wrong. Cheesebile, I think that's how you pronounce it. Memorial. It's a gentleman that the family out there raced many years in the Arizona area, or the Tucson area, and the guy actually participated in 3 or 4 Indy 500s. Also, he's the guy they were memorializing is a former USAC sprint car driver. And I apologize for, like I said, I'm driving down the road, so I don't have my Google right in front of me. But just go ahead and send us to break, and when we come back on the other side, we'll have Miss Kim Moeller.
All right. We will do that.
Welcome back, everybody, in the dirt. Brian Gray is with us.
Yes, sir.
Hey. Well, who's our first guest, Brian?
Well, I believe we've got Kim Moeller on the line. Now, Kim is the owner of Moeller Raceway Park out in Williamsburg, Ohio. How's it going, Kim?
It's going great, Brian. How you doing?
I'm sitting in a basement doing a radio show because Webb's in his daggone car and not at the studio.
Are you looking at your hard charger award?
I took pictures of it. I stared at it. I sent Mr. John Sizemore pictures of it, and no comments on 4M about it yet.
Well,
it's on Facebook too, Kim. He's got it out there.
Yeah, I've seen it on there.
I made sure that everybody's seen that. That right there was the happiest. That was the best award I've ever got. Let me put it to you like that.
Well, you had to work hard for it because we don't just pick it. It goes by the points and the passing and all that. And with the competition we have back here, you definitely earned it. Well,
I'm glad. And that's why Jody and them said I had to come to the banquet, I guess.
That's why I made them get you there. And we were all so glad when you walked in. Everybody was even more glad when Jody walked in, because Jody walked in an hour late, and he was supposed to video the banquet, and he kept saying, just wait on me. So I had him announce it when Jody Shannon walked in for everybody to applaud, and we rendered Jody Shannon speechless.
Yeah, he got a standing ovation when he walked in the room, and then he walked over to me.
He got a standing ovation. He didn't know what to do.
Morrell said, we thought this thing was out in Mount Orb, so we drove all the way to Mount Orb. I was like, what's in Mount Orb?
Now, how does a man who's an hour late get a standing ovation? That's just, I want to. If I'm an hour late,
it's Jody Shannon.
That's right. It's Jody Shannon. That's the best answer. Now, Miss Kim, Moeller Speedway, not very old. This is, I think I heard Brian say, your 6th year in operation.
This was our 5th year anniversary, and we made it through it. We're going into the 6th year this coming year.
Now, there was a lot of pretty much a headache along the road to get to 5 years now, wasn't there?
There has been a headache for the last at least 6 years. As we built the track in 10 months, broke ground in July of 2006, and then we opened in May. And the night before we opened, we were up on the thing, putting up the big lights in the infield. And then the morning, about 2 o'clock actually, when we were supposed to open the gates at 4, I was on the phone with the EPA trying to get a silly little sign that they needed on the side of the concession stand put up and sent to them where we weren't allowed to open. And then since then it's been a lawsuit because of a few neighbors. And, yeah, it's been challenging, but we've made it.
So going back 5 years, or let's go back 6 years. What was the motivating factor for you and your family to open a racetrack?
We've always been involved in racing. I raced over at Brown County in a street stock. I had a GTO. My husband's family, back to his grandpa, had been involved in racing. His grandpa had a track, and it's just almost straight across from us at the end of Harker Waits Road on Route 68. It was called Mount Orb Speedway. And his grandpa and his dad built the Mount Orb Speedway. They operated it for about 4 or 5 years, and then they went into racing themselves and won many championships and stuff. And then me and Kevin got a couple cars and had Weasel Rhodes, who's still driving. He ended up third, I think, in the mods this year. But he drove for us. John Whitney, John Osmond, John Whitney's dad. A lot of good drivers drove for us at Brown County. And we always wanted to start our own track, and we talked about opening that one back up, but that never quite worked out. So we thought we bought 20 acres here with a little 14 by 28 trailer on it. And if anything opened up beside us, we were going to buy it. And in May of 2006, it opened up, and by July 1st, we were breaking ground.
Now, over the course of the first 5 years of being open, have you guys experienced ups and downs with your the people coming in to the grandstands, and what have you guys done to market and advertise your racetrack?
Well, pretty much just word of mouth. I mean, everybody really seems to love the place. We haven't had much of a problem there. We traveled all around when we were racing, so we took the goods and the bads from the different tracks and tried to, make this what we were hoping to be one of the best. And it is a racy little place. And
I wouldn't say hoping to be one of the best, Kim, because you know what, the track has come so far in the last few years, and I think that really it is one of the best. I mean, if not in the area, if not in this part of the country. So don't even hold back there for a second. That it's a great place to go to. The level of competition there is really the competition around this part of the country anyway is right up there in the top levels. I mean, Barry and Little John, those guys could go anywhere and race with anybody and do good.
Oh, yeah, when we get the big-time drivers around here who have been around forever, and they come here and try to race our locals, they have a battle on their hands. I saw a story on the website on Jerry Rice, and he was surprised that he won the Ike Muller Memorial because he said, he knew he was coming here with a lot of competition.
Well, he had to beat the Salt Rock Express.
Yep.
He had to beat Scott James.
Conley's.
the Conleys, Justin Ratliff.
Yep.
And a lot of those guys, I mean, those are World 100 winners.
Yep.
And I mean, look at how Eddie Carrier Jr. did in this year's World 100. You give him a few more laps, I think that's who would have been your winner this year.
Oh, it was an awesome race because some guys and Barry and all our locals were right in there with them too. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. But he took home the $5,000. He was there at the end.
When you built the Speedway, where was all the competitors racing prior to Moeller opening up?
Pretty much all around. There's Florence. Some of our locals came from Brown County. But what's nice about the Friday nights, and we did Friday nights really not to hurt Brown County because Brown County ran on Saturday and so did Florence and KC and all them. And what's really nice about here and why we've got the competition we got is because the people that travel to all these local or these tracks surrounding us end up here on Friday night, just have some place to race on Friday nights. And then they go back to their hometown track. Like Doug Atkins won our modified class this year. Well, he's also the track champion of Portsmouth Raceway Park. So he won 2 track championships, and the year before he did the same thing. So, they come from all around the different tracks, and they can race here on Friday night and then go to their home tracks on Saturday. So we got the locals plus the ones that come in from there.
What are the classes that you run on a weekly basis, and do you have any specialty events?
Last year was late models, modified, street stocks, and Chevettes. And 5 years ago, they told us, you will not have a Chevette class. Chevettes are a thing of the past. And we had 96 different Chevettes here this year. And we've always got an awesome Chevette class. A lot of that is due to Holman Motors, who's our Chevette class sponsor. He has actually put on a $1,500 Chevette show. And he does like 3 shows through the year, another 2 are $1,000. And he's really got the Chevettes going, and they just love it, and they just have a great time. And then this year he's going to sponsor our modified and the Chevette class. And our modified class is awesome, too. And then also this year we're going to add the Crazy Compacts, which is something that, more everybody can get into at a lower rate, hopefully. Lower cost.
So it's just like a street stock.
Street stocks are getting pretty pricey now, too. I mean, they got $5,000 or more in these little Chevettes.
Oh, yeah.
But the little Crazy Compacts or Hornets, whatever you want to call them, or 4-cylinder front-wheel drives, and, hopefully we can monitor them and keep them to the stock and make them more affordable for the everyday person.
Now, have you come up with your 2012 schedule yet? And is it out?
We kind of put it out there at the banquet. It's not really finished yet. We got a lot of stuff coming up. We're going to be doing the American Modified Series. We always do them a couple times a year. We have the Holman Motors Chevettes, like I said, 3 times a year. Our big race of the year is always the Ike Moeller Memorial. That's after his grandpa. So we started that race our first year. And so it's always the weekend after North-South of Florence, which is August 17th this year. We got several special late model and modified shows. One of the major modified shows that we put on this year, we're still kind of involved in a lawsuit, but the appeals court overturned the trial judge and lifted all our restrictions for the time being. So we have a 2-day mod show on the schedule now, which we're including all the sanctioning bodies, the USRA, the IMCA, AMRA, UMP, and WSOTA for one huge show.
So pretty much if you have a modified, it don't matter where you run it at, you exactly. Come on out and you're running for $5,000.
Yeah, and Bob Crace, Mike Jewell is our race director, and he started that at Southern Ohio Speedway. And Bob Crace Jr. won it in 1991, and he's already got hold of us, and he's coming back to claim his title again. And so we're going to see who the overall national winner will be here again.
you mentioned there's some litigation. Can you elaborate on that? Because us here down south.
Oh, there's two people with some money to throw out the window, I guess, who they're 5 miles away from us. You know, there's no way that they can hear anything but a background noise, if that. That are just, the only thing they filed the lawsuit for was to shut us down, and our judge, which wasn't right, passed it off to a judge from out of town who had already shut down a motorcycle track. The judge said they didn't prove their case, therefore we were not a nuisance, but if left unchecked could become a nuisance. Could become.
Hey,
so
Webb.
the appeals court overturned that, but now it's back in, when they overturn a judge's decision, they have to put it back in his hands. So now it's back to him, but as of right now, until he does something else with it, we've got no restrictions. He even put a 75 decibel limit on us. If anybody knows anything about decibel limits, that's just crazy. The classroom's crazy, louder than that, you know, cars going up and down the road. It's just, but
it's louder than the motorcycles running around there for sure.
Oh, yeah, motorcycles. We got a big trucking company. Oh, and he limited us to Friday nights only, and the trucking company runs 24/7, and Jake breaks up and down the road, you know. So, and I'm a court reporter, so it's really crazy to me, but I've seen it in the court system before. It just never affected me.
Now, Kim, we've got a caller on the line that has a question for you. This is Misty from Cincinnati.
Okay.
My question is, how can you guys call your Chevette class an economy class when you got people running $30,000 motors in their Chevettes?
Well, I don't think they're actually $30,000 motors. I already said they are expensive motors, and that's why we're introducing the crazy compacts this year. So anybody can go to a junkyard and get a 4-cylinder front-wheel drive and make it into a race car and race. That's going to be our economy class starting this year.
Now, I believe that Florence Speedway also is adding a compact class, and you guys were talking about you're just going to implement the same exact rules that Florence does, right?
Right. It'll be the same rules. We're calling ours Crazy Compacts just because I like that name.
Well, I guess we'll see you guys out there this summer.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling in, Misty.
Thank you.
And we've also had some great things happen this year. We got Sunoco Race Fuels and Hoosier Tires on with us this year. So on top of our local sponsors, hopefully that'll help us a lot. But when you're trying to recover from building the track and fighting a lawsuit at the same time, it's a little hard.
Well, Miss Kim, I really appreciate you joining the show tonight. We're going to look forward to getting updates from you all year long. Is there any way we can get you back on, maybe on a Monday, to talk about any big weekends you're going to have?
Sure, that'd be fine. Can I mention one more thing?
Yeah, I want you to mention your whatever you got, and plus
I just wanted to congratulate Brian again on his hard charger thing.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And like I said, that right there made my weekend. It made my season, really. Well,
I'm glad you deserved it. And then Jody Shannon with the DRC, he definitely deserved his award, and he was excited about it. But we recognize the DRC because they sponsored some races out here. But he's also awesome with his videos and his pictures and his public relations work. He does a lot for not only us but all the tracks in this area. He spends a lot of time on that stuff, and so we really wanted to thank him and let him know we appreciated that too.
What's the track website, Miss Kim?
MoellerRacewayPark.com.
And it's every Friday night there. And forgive me for my ignorance, Moeller is in Cincinnati, I'm assuming, right?
It's Williamsburg, Ohio.
In Williamsburg,
Ohio. It's about 30
Ohio.
minutes east of Cincinnati.
Well, thank you, Miss Kim, and we'll check in with you guys later on in the season. When we come back from the break, Brian Gray, we should have Morgan Bagley and Randall Edwards.
I've finally completed the Tucson to Phoenix, or Tucson to Gadsden trip. I'm back here at headquarters. I'd like to welcome to the program Morgan Bagley and Randall Edwards. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. How about you?
Man, I was out there in Arizona with y'all while you was racing. I was the idiot in the flag stand holding the camera, getting blasted with all the sand coming off the speedway. So ending the Wild West shootout on a very high note with a victory yesterday. Give me your guys' account of the weekend or the time you spent out there. What's your account of it?
Go ahead, Morgan.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a neat deal to go to. Just to get out of town and the first race of the year, to be able to go out there and race 6 races, but within 10 or 12 days. And we took off there the first night. We had a good car, and kind of after the race of Saturday night, kind of discussed some things we feel like we could do to make it better. And then we did it. And Sunday we had some bad luck there and got quite a bit of stuff tore up. And if it would have been for that Monday and Tuesday off, I don't think it would have really been hard to get that extra motivation to get out and fix that thing and get it looking good again. But we just stayed with it all week there and made notes. And you definitely got to be lucky out there with the passing points deal. That's a lot of cars to be racing on a passing point system. And we finally caught some good breaks there, and I learned a lot. And Randall, taught me a lot what I could be doing different as a driver, and with some of the feedback we were able to get with the car, and kind of put it all together and got the right breaks and had to be at the right spot, and it definitely paid off Sunday at the last race there.
Now, this guy is not excited at all, it don't sound like, Webb. I mean, and you just brought home a $10,000 check racing against some of the baddest guys in the country now.
Well, we're definitely excited. It was just we just got to recover from the ride home now. That's a long ways home. And I'm talking about, you can ask Randall, he didn't realize how big Texas was. He said, man, we've been driving for 20 hours and 80% of it was across Texas.
That's right. Now you're coming off a 2011 campaign that saw you win the Super Championship in your first year of Super Late Models because you were Rookie of the Year. Explain the quick success of last year, and with the addition of Randall and the win already this year, what's 2012 coming? What can you do to top 2011?
Well, I mean, we to take off in 2011, I was fortunate enough to get hooked up with Randall, and he just, steered me in the right direction, helped me out a lot, just always a phone call away. He's been to a lot of the places down here that we've raced at, was kind of familiar with them, so he could always kind of lead me in the right directions, whether it be suspension or, choosing tires, because that was a big deal and something that we didn't know much about. And we do have very good equipment. Wayman McMillan's provide us with just a top-notch operation. So to go out and, always set your goals high. I try to set mine high, and to go out in 2011 and accomplish that was a great feat there. But, in 2012, we knew, we set our, bar high to go out and run some of these bigger races and do a little bit more traveling and some of the more open tire stuff with the open motors and the small spoilers, and we want to get to be one of the top teams in the nation, and the only way we're going to be able to do that is a race with them week in and week out. But being where we're located at, it's very hard to do because it's going to consist of a lot of traveling. So we want to go out there and make races, and that was our goal, is just make races. Anytime we're on a racetrack, we're making laps, we're learning, and that's what's going to get us better. And so to go out and win, like I said, I'm sure some people had their doubts knowing that what we were getting ourselves into this year, we would even win a race this year after winning 7 last year. So at least we know one thing. We at least got one this year. And
that's right.
Hopefully we can win about, 8 or 10 more, and that'll be better in 2011.
Well, that's a heck of a start right there.
Randall, you guys obviously had some lackluster luck early in the shootout, and Wednesday and Friday a couple 15th place finishes. What did you guys learn to get up front on Sunday?
Well, actually, I mean, me and Morgan talked a bunch. I mean, I knew our car was pretty good, which that was a brand new car. That was an orange front end car Rocket, and I really hadn't, done anything on that car, and he was new in it too. So like those first, 3 or 4 days, we was both, kind of learning, what feedback he could give me, and what the deal, like I always kind of knew what a Rocket likes, but and then I knew we had a good car, and like, man, that passing points deal is just hard. I mean, like we won like 2 heat races, and the best we started was like 12th, and it was like, man, if we can, like I was telling you, if we can ever just get up there, like I think we can run with them, I mean, it's hard to start 12th and drive up through there and, and run top 5. I mean, like, really and truly, like, it wasn't really hardly nobody started back there and kind of drove to the front, because those day shows are pretty hard. I mean, it's slick and it's just so slow, like when it's daytime deal, and then, it has no choice but to rubber up, and then it's kind of hard to pass,
Now, I understand there were some grumblings from some of the drivers. What were, not that you have to tell me what your complaints were, what were some of the complaints about the Speedway? I mean, other than it just being rubbered up?
No, I never had no complaint. I mean, like, hey, look, I mean, it's hard to run a daytime show, and I think they, did pretty good for, like, to have 70 cars, 60 to 70 cars every night, or every day, And then the daytime show, or the nighttime shows, it was a little fast, but, I mean, that was just, part of it, and then, like, like the last 2 days, I mean, like, it kind of, rubbered up there, but they did everything they could. I mean, hell, they even went out and reworked the track right before our feature, and
they reworked it.
They could.
They reworked it before the first of the open wheel features. A lot of people said they should have kind of chopped up the bottom. Morgan, do you think that would have helped any?
Well, like that guy that, we kind of talked to him all week, and like you got to give them guys props. I mean, they didn't just say, there it is, make the best out of it. They went out there and did what they could. But, like that guy said, he said, I just can't get, below that, I can't get down there where those holes are at the bottom, because if I rip it down that much, those holes are going to get even worse. And then, like, of course, especially if you're from, well, apparently anybody, anywhere but there, I mean, they ain't got nothing but rocks and sand out there. And
that's right.
That guy, he said, if I get down any lower, it's going to get real rocky. So, I mean, you kind of got to give the guy some credit. He's the one that works with that dirt every day of the week, so he kind of knows the limitations he can take it to. So, I don't think, like I said, they did everything I feel like they could do in their power, and it was the same for all of us.
Now, when we got to the pits, to the post-race interview with you, Ben Shelton made notice of your tire. How many more laps did you think you had on that tire?
I don't know. It didn't matter. We only had to go 40.
It didn't matter what was left.
He had a few more laps. I've seen him way worse than that. I mean, the cords wasn't showing or nothing. I mean, I just know he knows, like with 10 to go there, like I was, telling him, like we need to get up on the wheel here. We need to get this done, and like he definitely drove a little harder the last 10 laps there to keep McCready behind us. That's for sure.
So was there anything that you think played into your favor that helped you out in that race?
Oh, well, I mean, we got a good draw there, and the 21 car had some misfortune there, and then again, but like at the end of the day, we were right there where we needed to be. Like we had that new orange front-end car, and what Randall and them have done to it. I mean, that thing was neutral. I think like we were fast at the beginning, we were fast in the middle, and we were fast there at the end. I'm not saying like we were just had the best. I mean, of course, we could always come in and work on it and make it a little bit better, but we just had, the best car to work with throughout the whole transaction of the race, and I think that's kind of what helped us to be there. We had to, regain the lead there like 3 times throughout the night.
Mr. Edwards, moving forward from the Wild West Shootout, are you on board with the Bagley program for the duration, or was this just a special deal here?
Oh no, I'm gonna be with Morgan. I'm gonna be with him 2 weekends out of the month, and then the other 2 weekends I'm gonna be with that Austin Hubbard and Morgan's gonna do it like. What's that?
And Tim Logan's team.
Yep, Tim Logan. Yep, and you know, like he's gonna do some traveling, and you know, and then he's probably gonna be at a bunch of races that Austin's at too. You know, so you know, like. You know, hopefully they can, you know, we can get together and, you know, because Austin's been on the road for about 3 years, you know, and then, you know, maybe Austin can help Morgan out on places that he's never been to, you know, like help him a little bit out on, you know, just, you know, on the way the tracks are and stuff like that, you know.
And Mr. Logan certainly is going to be a big help to Austin Hubbard as a former car owner to the Kentucky Colonel. So certainly there's going to be some knowledge exchange there between car owner and driver.
And it looks like, Webb, we've got a caller here.
Okay.
Who's got a question for Morgan.
Okay.
Are you with us, caller? This is Matt, and where are you from, Matt?
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, you got a question for Morgan or Randall?
Morgan, yeah.
Go ahead.
Do the rear steers in the late models make a big difference?
What's that?
I said, do the rear steers in the late models make a big difference in a street stock?
I think what he's asking you, Morgan, is what, you know, how much of a difference does it make, you know, having that 4-link suspension on the back of the car versus, you know, the guys that are running street stocks?
Yeah, I mean, our suspensions with the technology these days they're so, you know, that they're just designed for our corner speed and, you know, when the tracks get slow. And, yes, the rear steer always helps get through the corner, you know, and it's really more important to have your front end right than anything because your rear end is going to follow wherever your front end goes. But then again, like, you know, you always got to have all 4 tires working together, you know, to maintain the best corner speed you can.
I appreciate you calling in, Matt. Well, Morgan, before we let you go, I want you to give us an idea of what your schedule is going to include here in the early part of the season, and also thank all your sponsors and mention a website if you have one.
Okay. Well, you know, we're going to go to Florida, you know, run some of the East Bay stuff and then Volusia. And we're not going to commit to anything this year as far as, you know, a points battle. And we're just going to try to learn, you know, that way. Because we're going to be doing a lot of traveling this year with where we're located at. So anytime that, you know, we might be able to drive somewhere and race a Woo race one weekend and maybe hit a Lucas show on the way back and then another, you know, in back track where we could make it feasible to, you know, run that operation up and down the road and we can learn, you know, we're going to do what we can. And then if we ever, you know, have a bad day or a bad week and we just feel like we're out there spinning our tires and we need to come back to the shop and regroup, we can. You know, it's going to be a big learning curve for, you know, me and Brandon and RT, my crew guys, because, you know, we haven't done as much traveling like Randall has. You know, he'll be able to help us out a lot on the road and, you know, learning how to run up and down the road. And as far as, man, you know, I just got to thank everybody. Starting, you know, with, you know, Mark and Josh Richards at Rocket. You know, they provide us with a great race car, and they give awesome feedback and really work with us to, you know, make sure that we stay on top. And then Clement's Race Engines, I mean, we got a good piece in there, and it's able to get her done in any condition. Then my car owner, Wayman McMillan with P&W Sales, he's, you know, he's just built a great team here, and I think, you know, he don't cut any corners and, you know, works with us really well on what we feel like we might need to compete. You know, he's always willing to lend the ear there and listen and, you know, work together. And then DDC, the Directional Drilling Company, Tim Abel's Trucking, P&W Ironworks, Randall Edwards with RE Consultants. He's, cut my learning curve. I mean, he's had to knock like about 8 years off of it, is what I'm figuring about now so far. Then 360 Motorsports, J&J Motorsports, Willwood, Hypercoal, Integra, Franklin, Barnes, Sunoco, Got a Race in Arizona Sportswear, Wild Josh Ass Outerwears, Joe Gibbs Racing Oil, Racing Optics, and then of course I got to thank the people that are behind the scenes that y'all don't always get to see. That kind of makes it a lot easier when I'm on the road, like my wife Melissa, and take care of my new baby boy Maverick, and my mom and dad, and then a guy that chases sponsors and helps us out a lot, Wayne Harris, back at the shop.
Well, congratulations on your big victory out there in Tucson. Certainly it's going to catapult you to great things this year with Randall Edwards on board. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm hoping we're one of the first shows you guys did after the win.
That's it. We ain't been on that long.
I hear you. Well, all right. I'd like to thank you guys for coming on. And we come back from the break, we're going to close this thing out. And, hey, is there a website you got, Morgan?
Yeah, that's right. It's Morgan Bagley 14M.com.
Morgan Bagley 14M.com. Check out what Morgan's got going on this year, and keep up with him all year long at the website. And
was there anybody that anything you got to put out there, Randall?
No, I'm just trying to do my own deal, like my consulting deal, and building a few cars. If anybody needs to buy a new car or anything, just get with me.
Well, there certainly is proof in the pudding that your consulting thing is a big deal. It's helped Morgan. So if anybody out there listening is interested, you can contact me at inthedirtradio@gmail.com. That's inthedirtradio@gmail.com, and I will get the information forwarded on to Randall. Randall, again, this is your second time on the program. Thank you very much. Morgan, go out there and kick some more tail, and Brian, send us the break.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome back to the program, race fans. How about Morgan Bagley, fresh off his win in Tucson, final night of the, as we're experiencing technical difficulties here behind the
almost.
But anyway, Tucson, big race, 10,000 win. Morgan Bagley comes away with the check. Crew Chief Randall Edwards, certainly an asset to that program. Coming up, we got the Wild West Shootout out of the way. Speed Weeks coming up. You got the Winter Freeze at Screven, the Super Bowl at Golden Isles, Battle of Swamp at Waycross, Georgia. Brian Gray, which one are you going to win? Brian Gray.
Hey, I'm here, dude. I'm sitting here running the board. You can't hear you guys when you're talking.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
That's all right. There's people calling in and all kinds of stuff. See, I missed what you were even talking about. I'm gonna have to make you repeat.
Oh.
But
I mentioned
I'm talking over you now.
That's all right. I mentioned the races that are coming up. Speed Weeks and Winter Freeze, Golden Isle, Super Bowl, Battle of Swamp at Waycross, and I asked which one you was going to win.
Man. I'm thinking Waycross is probably going to be more my style. So yeah, we'll be down there and we'll bring our brand new 2013 Jack of all trades
purple front
5/8 purple front end Rayburn rocket copy.
Rocket copy.
Yeah.
Well, what we're going to do is
there's a guy calling in. Hey, hold on. Let me see who I got. All right.
All right.
Hang on. Let's see. All right, caller. Your name and where you're from.
Stephen Brooks from New Lenox, Illinois.
Stephen Brooks from New Lenox, Illinois. How's it going, Stephen?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
We're doing all right, I think. Webb's been on the road. You got a question for me, Kyle, or Mr. Webb Dillard?
Yeah, I was just calling in. I just listen to you guys show a bunch and whatnot. But I was just I thought Joey Shannon was on the show too. No, taking that.
Jody's on here sometime.
Gotcha.
He calls in randomly, and
here's the problem, Steve. He's got a theme music that's like loaded into the dispatch board we got.
Yeah, we got it. It's right there.
And if you had theme music, wouldn't you call in more often?
DRC Bunker.
Yeah, definitely. I'd probably so.
I mean, I don't even have theme music, and I'm here every Monday.
We don't have a Webb Dillard theme, do we?
Yeah, it'd probably be more like the sounds of a carousel.
The sounds of the carousel. I'm still partial to this one.
Kyle May.
Well, Steve, I appreciate you listening. Maybe if more people called in and asked for Jody, he would partake in the dirt on Monday nights. Now you're a driver yourself, aren't you?
Yes, I am. Yeah, we run a modified over here in Illinois. Like I run Kankakee and Fairbury and travel about a little bit and whatnot. Like we're gonna go down.
So that's how you pronounce that place?
Kankakee or Fairbury?
Kankakee. That's how it's pronounced.
Well, sometimes let's call it Skankakee with the women there, but I mean, I guess you call it Kankakee.
Oh goodness, here we go. Now, did you join us last week listening to the open wheel program we had?
I didn't catch that one yet, but I usually listen to them past 8. You know what I mean?
10-4.
So we had work, sit on the desk board and stuff.
We had an entire show based solely on the open wheel division. We had a couple of drivers here from the south and a couple of drivers from up around your neck of the woods. Fast Track is introducing a new open wheel series this year. Another swing at making a series stick down here. And what do you run a series? Or you an outlaw open wheel car?
Pretty much outlaw. We just run hit and miss stuff every week.
Gotcha.
So do you know about the big 5,000 to win show that's going to be over at Moeller Raceway Park this summer?
Yeah, that's the ones to be TSMA and everything, right?
Yeah, it's open. It's open to everybody, and I think they're working. I think they're going to do just weight rules. But I mean, you're in the UMP stuff, right?
Yes, correct.
Oh yeah, so you'll have a hot rod anyway.
Yeah, she's all right some days, but the only thing I was waiting on that to see what they were gonna do tire wise, and then we were thinking about coming down over for that one. I gotta come to Moeller though, man. That place always looks like fun. All those DRC videos and everything I always see look like a good time over there.
And you'll never know when Chad Stapleton's going to jump in the flag stand.
That is worth the price of admission, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to jump in the flag stand at Kokomo, I think. No, that was Brian Ruhlman going to jump over his car. No, he was going to jump over Brian Ruhlman's car. That's what it was.
Hey, Steve, out in Arizona, they had open wheels out there as a support division. They had two kinds. What are the car counts that you see in open wheel? Because there was 60 open wheel cars out there, and I've never down south ever seen 60 open wheel cars at a racetrack.
That's a regular night at Fairbury.
Yeah, Fairbury usually gets 30 of them. But I don't know. I think the biggest car count we raced against last year was probably 60 or so. Probably right around 60, low side of 60, 55, 60, or Farmer City or Fairbury or somewhere.
That just blows my mind. I mean, they had what they call an X mod, and it's okay. I'm not a mechanic or crew chief, so I'm probably going to say this wrong, but they ran a 3-link or something. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it's almost like a B mod type deal, or a sport mod.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched all that stuff. Yep.
They were fast. Hey, I was impressed. They put on a good show. Just as good show as the late models. And I know here in the South, you're not supposed to say anything. You can't say that at all. But I really thought the open wheel guys took advantage of the big stage. Did you get to catch any of the pay-per-view?
Yeah, I watched Friday. Was it Wednesday, Friday, Sunday? I missed Saturday, but I watched the other days. Yeah,
I think the open wheel guys did a great job out there. And well, all right, guys. Steve, I appreciate you calling in. You're welcome to call in any time. We're going to have some more open wheel stuff as the season progresses, and you can call in with any of your results from your local speedway or your series, whichever you follow. Brian Gray, appreciate you running the board tonight while I was getting back in town. Kyle May, did you get that car done? Are you done with that car yet?
I mean, it's getting close. We're not going to push the issue, but, they're giving rain, so I don't know. I'm hoping it's done though, so I'm gonna go racing. I can't stand sitting at home all weekend.
Well, I'd like to thank all my guests, Miss Kim Moeller, for joining us from Moeller Speedway. They've got that track up and running now. They're through their fifth year. Brian, appreciate you. Congratulations on the Hard Charger Award. I'd like to thank Randall Edwards and Morgan Bagley for being on the program. Looking for big things. Maybe we're the good luck charm for Randall, because he's on our show and he goes out and gets this big payday and he's back on our show. So maybe we'll get some more wins. But for everybody associated with In the Dirt, I'm Webb Dillard, and we'll see you next week.